welcome back to Bali today. Well, lucky us, we're having a lovely day here at the Canggu Club, meeting some interesting people, both from Bali and from overseas. So my next guest is someone who's come to live in Bali, and we're going to talk about that experience. So I'm going to introduce you to my new good friend, Kamau. Hi, Kamau.
Hey, peace.
Om Swastiastu, actually, right?
Om Swastiastu.
Yeah, it's the nice way to start a conversation here, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
So everybody has a Bali story.
Yes.
So I like to start with that. Please tell me your Bali story.
My Bali story, well, it begins in San Francisco,
right.
where I'm from, California, US of A, where you're from.
Sorry, look at that. I can't help it. Go like that.
And I'm gonna condense it because it's a story. Yeah?
Okay,
but
sure.
It'll take time. I know we got a limited time, so I'll condense it. It begins in a bookstore. I'm one of those occult psychic bookstores that I was in, and I was looking for some items that I was going to put on a shrine that I was making in my house. And a woman comes up to me, a very fair-skinned black woman, yeah? And she's like, you got some very strong spirit guides around you, and they have information to communicate to you, and we need to talk.
Oh.
And then I'm like, I'm looking at her like, okay. Well, we started talking about the items I was looking at and different things. And then she gave me a card saying that she was a clairvoyant, and that we should meet tomorrow, like, soon. And then I was like, cool. She's like, I can do tarot and all this stuff. I was like, that's cool.
You would think, you must say that to everybody, like it's a great sales thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's what I was thinking, too, cost, money, whatever. But then she was just like, no, I won't, it's no charge, anything, but this is very important for you. And I was like, all right, cool. I never had a tarot reading done at that time. So the next day I met. And among a lot of other things talking about life, she mentioned that, I would be coming into some money in a few months, and I would be doing a lot of traveling.
I just have to interrupt. This is not, it doesn't happen every day in America. Okay?
It does not.
No. I know you may think that from watching movies, but no, this is, well, maybe in San Francisco, though.
Well, yeah, maybe in San Francisco.
They're a bit like that. But okay, so fantastic. Here you are.
And so a few months down the line, I came into some money that would allow me to travel, and I had never left the States. I wasn't even really thinking about leaving the States at the time. Let me go see what's going on in Australia.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And so I was talking to a travel agent, and she said I had a free stop between Thailand and Sydney. That's on the same route. And so I was looking in Indonesia, I found. And first I was looking at Yogyakarta and Borobudur, the temple and whatnot. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I found a site on Bali, and I never even heard of Bali. Like, prior to looking at this site, never heard of Bali. And so I came here. It was an overall moment. It was a 2-week moment. That really resonated with me.
What were you doing in your life in San Francisco at that time?
At that time, I was doing a lot of touring around the States. I had
As what?
Well, just performing. I do poetry and I rap. And at the time, I had a one-act play with a jazz musician. And we were touring, going to different festivals around the country, performing in this particular play. And also, the clairvoyant was right. I was doing a lot of traveling. I also had got invited to go to Japan and do some work just as an artist with an organization called Peace Boat there.
I read about it. The 44th Peace Boat.
Yeah.
Like what, one every year?
They do 3 cruises every year.
Oh, okay.
So because it goes around the world or whatnot, and then they invite.
They're on the Balinese calendar.
Yeah, and so they invite guests, lecturers, and musicians and artists to come aboard. And before they stop into the ports, they'll have the lecturers talk about the countries and the guests who come aboard, because it's an activist-themed cruise ship. So I was invited aboard as an artist along with 5 other artists from the San Francisco Bay Area to do workshops on art and activism. And we sailed from Japan and got off in India for the World Social Forum in 2004. So we performed and did workshops at that. And it is when I came home from there that I had my first culture shock, when I went home from India back to San Francisco, America, whatnot. And at the time, the big hype was the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction thing.
Yeah.
And
we saw a breast.
Yeah, I'm saying, right? It's like a big thing. But for me, I just came from spending 2 weeks, meeting activists from all over the world, fighting for all kind of issues, from water issues to war crimes to, racism to, just all kinds of issues, and sleeping in the dirt, meeting youth who are just going through it and really fighting to change the situation of not only their own lives, but just the lives of their community and their countries. And then to go back to America, and this is the biggest hype in the news, I just didn't like it anymore. I couldn't deal with it. And well, I could deal with it, but I didn't want to stay there. I wanted to go get more global experience. And so I made the decision that I wanted to leave. And out of my travels, Bali was the place that resonated with me the most. So I moved here. I initially wanted to be a monk, like not a literal monk, but come here and just kind of be secluded off in, Upper Ubud or something, have my own little spot, a bunch of books, and just study and just dive into it. But my path of learning is within the arts and within expression, which takes place amongst other people. It can't be any seclusion. And so it's the same thing when I came here, and part of the reason which kept me here so long, and because I initially wanted to move here just for a year. I wanted to stay for a year, then go back. But I met some youth here in Bali who were breaking. I met them on the beach in Kuta or whatnot. And they had all the energy and the drive to know it. They were all teenagers and young. And I really, I seen that they were into it, but there were certain things that were lacking that just because they didn't have the proper knowledge. So when I came back, I brought DVDs. Hey, check this, get into it, learn the history of it, see how it's going down. And then from that, when I came and stayed longer, then I found a spot where I practiced, because they were practicing on the street and concrete and all these different things. I'm like, man, to get, which is hip-hop, straight up.
Yeah.
But for purposes of becoming better, then it's good to have a facility where you can really focus and you don't have to have all these distractions. So I found a facility and started working with them. And then when I DJ at certain places, I'll say, hey, come and dance, and talk to the management, see if they can, get a little money for it. And just from that, it just developed. Aerial Crew right here.
And what is Aerial Crew?
Aerial Crew is the kids that I met when I first came to Bali. They would form a breakdancing crew called Aerial Crew. And so over these couple of years or whatnot, they've been improving, and I book shows for them and work with them on choreography. It's not my natural style in terms of within hip-hop. Hip-hop has various styles of hip-hop dancing. There's breakdancing, so-called breakdancing, actually b-boying or b-girling, popping, locking, these different things. And I understand it all, though I don't do that particular style. I did it when I was younger.
Well, that is something that I have read about Kamau, which I wanted to bring out of you now, sweetheart. I want to know, as a musician, and specifically hip-hop and rap, I'm really on the outside, and we think of the whole violent thing and the homeboy thing and the my best mate got murdered thing and stuff. And here you're taking this medium and matching it with peace activism. Reading on your website was the first time I'd ever heard of that. Are you following in someone's footsteps, or is this your own way of looking at it? Or?
Yes.
You must explain that. I don't even have good questions. That's so cross-cultural, counterculture.
Well, we're always following in people's footsteps.
True.
One thing, the misconception of hip-hop is a very media-controlled aspect of hip-hop that people see.
That's true.
We have to remember that hip-hop emerged from poor conditions, from the so-called ghetto. So poor people, as a means of dealing with the situation, created this particular culture, which includes the art form of rapping and breakdancing and the different forms of hip-hop dancing. These are all expressions that come out of this condition. And so also within that expression is the desire to change it and overcome it. And that's the whole point of expressing, as opposed to, even with the violent aspects of rap, I'd rather take that energy and channel it into words and music than really doing it,
Well, and you're finding that this is just as powerful a tool in Indonesia. You went to New Guinea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is, I know you've been working with young people as well. So why do you think rap is interesting to people here in Indonesia?
It's because it's a tool, like I see back at home. It's changed so many. It's changed my life, Again, it's a tool for self-empowerment and expression. Hip-hop in itself is about creativity. It's about creating something new. It's about new. It's not about copying. Its original essence of it is not about copying, about taking that and saying, I want to do it just like that. It's saying, okay, I see that, I like it, how can I make it a part of me and make it new, and use it to empower myself. And so if it was created in Indonesia, it would, it would have been created in the kampung, in the cuts of the mountain somewhere, it's the American equivalent of that, because it is a means. And now look at it; it's a $1 billion industry that's gone all over the world.
That's so.
Have
you done a Bali rap? Is there like
a Bali rap? Yeah, I wrote my first Indonesian rap actually a couple weeks ago. Or whatever.
About Indonesia or in Bahasa Indonesia?
In Bahasa Indonesia.
Oh, good. Give me a bit, please.
Okay. Maaf kalau salah ya.
Yay! More than I know already.
But this is berdasarkan hal-hal yang penting untuk menciptakan hal-hal yang penting. Kalau pikiran terbuka, kalian akan mengerti juga kenapa aku harus bawa perubahan. Dansa dalam pikiran Tuhan, dansa cipta ilahi, kuasa surgawi, manfaat lebih pada arti dari si. Pikiran jelas, hidup bebas, bikin dunia menjadi lepas, menjadi panas gelap. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah. I'm impressed. Oh, I saw that. It was this big.
It liked the rap. It was like, okay, what's up?
It wants to go in your brain. Woo. See, there you go. You have converts everywhere. Right. So, Kamau, thank you. Really, it's fantastic. We must get him back another time and show us all his talents. But no, thank you.
Right, one more point.
Yes, please.
The point is, like, with the spirituality, and my thing is to utilize hip-hop in order to bring that forth. Because, once again, I see everybody as a spiritual being. And so through hip-hop, it allows one's unique expression to come forth, to express their natural spirit, where it's at, wherever it's at, through these forms of dancing and music and poetry and all these different things.
Thank you, Kamau. Thanks very much for coming today and talking to us and sharing. All right, there's a lot more, like Scala and Niskala here in Bali. There's a lot more to people like Kamau than you may see on the surface, and unfortunately a lot more than we have time for today. So we're going to take a break, and we'll book you. We'll book you to come back. We've got to do a big show where we get all of the talented creative rappers together, and you can show us what's happening. Because I love the way it's crossing national boundaries and of youth. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so hard to say goodbye. Okay, we'll take a little break, and we'll be back with more of the movers, groovers, and legends. Thanks very much.